You know, you can't really wear shoes in space. But I do need to wear these shoes to a party in 30 minutes. Can't you hurry? I dropped them off 2 hours ago. Your sign says 1 hour. Can't you just glue the heel on her?
They're Donna Duran's. Very well made. You want your shoes for your party? Patience. Why don't they wear shoes in space?
Well, you can't really walk in space. I mean, the breakaways, those people that have left Earth for good, they go barefoot. New temps, they wear these slippers that have this grippy stuff on the bottom of it. And temps that have been there for a while, they wear this sock that kind of snugs around their toes. Breakaways, they've reinvented feet. They can pick up screwdrivers, they can pick up spoons. I had this friend who was able to make a tomato and krill sandwich using nothing but her feet. Of course, she'd had that operation. She had the big toe made into a thumb.
I thought they were all serious space geeks.
No. Breakaways have a sense of humor. They are, after all, people just like everybody else. It's just that they're like no people you've ever met before. Elena was so limber, she was actually able to bite her own toenails. I can't go barefoot.
I've got to drill the shank.
What did you say your name was?
Jane.
And Cleo.
I've thought of going to space.
Jane, honey, lots of people think about going in space. But I would be surprised if you actually applied, let alone broke away.
Hey, I can apply. I was just thinking about it before you walked in here. It's not like I want to be here forever.
How old are you?
I'm 22.
Well, that's good. They like them young. As long as you're over 19. No kids in space. So the warnings, they don't scare you.
Nah. I don't know what job I could do.
Not shoe repair, that's for sure.
Don't worry, they'll find something for you to do. I mean, they trained me. And I was a nobody. I was a business major. I was on the SS290VB Victor Baker for almost 15 months. Could never decide if I loved it or hated it. Still can't.
So how could I even think about becoming a breakaway? Everything is loose, okay? Everything comes unstuck. For a week, you get space sick. Your insides are all scrambled. And then your sinuses fill with cotton candy, your face puffs up. You're fighting a daily hair mutiny, and I might have backed down right away if it hadn't been for Elena. The one with the clever toes. Then, just when you are completely spent and miserable and disoriented, you realize it is absolute magic. Some astro fairy has changed you. And I'll tell you something else, the most amazing thing about weightlessness. You never stop falling. Down, up, sideways, whatever.
It's extremely sexy. But it does take some getting used to. And it's not only you that's enchanted, it's all your stuff too. For example, here, if you put something down, it stays down. If you put a brush down, it does not decide to drift up out the door and go visit Elena on B-deck. You get a lot of puddings in space. Stews, oatmeals. Things, sticky things that are easy to eat. You can't taste that much, but salty and sweet anyhow.
You okay?
What, am I babbling? God, I'm babbling again, aren't I? Must be the Zentadone. You know, the woman at the personality store said this is like a icebreaker with a flirty edge to it. Like Panadol, but more sincere. You don't have any normalizers, do you?
No, I don't do any of that stuff.
I'm just taking a little vacation from Cleo. For tonight. I want to be someone fun, daring. Maybe for more than tonight. Maybe for a weekend. Or a week. Or a whole month. Don't worry, I will eventually come back to myself. Only not anytime soon.
This doesn't look like it's been worn very much. Did you get them new?
And then I had to store them when I went up. You know, you get used to wearing high heels. You know, I'm not gonna climb a mountain or run a marathon in spike heels or anything, but I've read all these studies about why men like spike heels on a woman. Think about it. I mean, they stress a woman's leg, so they're nice and tense, and they pop your fanny out so it looks like you're making the world an offer. But more than anything, it tells a guy that if you run, you are not going to get very far. You've made yourself vulnerable. You've chosen to make yourself vulnerable. And there is nothing like the click, click, click of high heels to get a man's attention. Of course, it's not quite the same in zero gravity. She was my mentor. Elena was, assigned to teach me how to live in space.
So what do you think I could do up there? I mean, what did you do up on the space station?
The VB? I was an ag tech. You know, a germ wrangler. Microorganisms. I bet you thought that if you put a seed in the soil and gave it some water and sunlight in a couple of months, Mother Nature would just hand you a head of lettuce. Doesn't work that way, especially not in space. I mean, the Edens are a synergistic and symbiotic ecology. You need to have your protein crops and your carbo crops and your vitamin crops, and all of them are very fussy about the neighborhood germs. If you don't keep your rhizobium and your clostridium in perfect balance, your Edens are going to rot to compost. It's important work, and it's duller than accounting. See, that was the other thing. The job would have been a lot easier if the crew hadn't been floating in and out all over the place. Breakaways were the worst. They would adopt plants as though they were adopting pets. Is that crazy or what?
And you brought those back down with you?
No, those are all silk or polymer. Being a mommy to legumes is not what I miss about space. When I first backed down, I wanted nothing to do with the day. We were a bunch of poor nobodies, my family was, and we moved to the night when I was about 7, so night shifting was just like coming home for me. Truth is, I got too much sun when I was up there. So the sun is not my friend. I haven't seen real daylight in over a year. I make a point of it. When that sun is shining, I'm either sleeping or safely cocooned. At dusk, I get up to work and play. How about you? What turned you into an owl?
My family moved to the night when I was 5. After high school, I didn't know what to do. This is the family business. But I am not looking forward to even one more day of fixing fancy shoes for the dull day-siders that come in here. I know I can do something better. And the best parties start very, very late.
No, actually, they prefer recruits who have night shifted. It shows them you have a certain amount of circadian discipline. Now, the night is where I live now. Elena used to say that the night was edgier, scarier, sexier. You do and you say things that you wouldn't do at lunchtime. Living in the night gives you an extra kind of, I don't know.
Juice.
And living in space, it's just the same. It's even edgier and scarier and sexier. I don't know if sexy is the right word, but you get what I mean.
Exciting, exhilarating. I could go for that.
You know, that is what I think I miss most about it. I was more alive up there than I had ever been in my entire life. Maybe too alive. I mean, people live fast up there. You know the stats, they have to.
Do you still talk to her?
Elena? Well, not in a couple of months, I guess. I wish we could talk more, but it's hard, you know. She transferred to a mining ship, the Marathon. They're out there surveying Saturn's moons. I wish we could talk more. It's just that there's a 3-hour time lag, so it's really impossible to have any real-time conversation. She did send me a few videos. It's just, well, it hurt too much to watch them. They're full of happy chat, you know, nothing really important in any of them. I did not plan on missing her so much.
So, what are the men like up there? Any studs among the techno weenies? You must have had a spaceman or two.
Don't make assumptions about me just because I wear spike heels.
Sorry, just curious. But how exactly do you do it in space?
Everyone wants to know that. That and how do we go to the bathroom in space? To tell you the truth, Jane, sex is complicated in space, just like everything else. I mean, you can forget everything you've ever heard about doing it while free-floating. It's dangerous, hard work, and no fun. Now, you want to have sex in space, one or both of you has to be tied down. You don't realize how erotic weight is until you don't have any. Most new temps, they use this joy strap thing. It's this wide elastic band that keeps the two of you coupled together. Some people, they do nothing but oral. Keeps the vectors down. But the truth of the matter is, Jane, sex in space can be subtle. As in, disappointing. The breakaways have reinvented love. They have this kind of sex where they float together, coupled, not moving because their bones are so brittle, staring into each other's eyes until it's time for them to have an orgasm, and they tell each other, and then they do. Elena tried to show me once, and I don't know why, but it just didn't happen for me. She said I'd learn eventually, but she never asked me again.
Is that why you backed down?
No. I thought I was gonna break away. I really did. I thought I was gonna break away from Earth and stay for good. I really did. I stuck it out to the last possible day, actually. It's hard to explain. When all the nobodies are looking up into the night, no offense, Jane, I was one too. What calls them is the romance. The high frontiers, you know, Space Patrol and Captain Kirk, cowboys and asteroids, and then you get up there, and once you're done puking, you realize that was all propaganda. Space is boring and indescribably fascinating all at the same time. I remember looking out the window in the evenings, and I would see the Earth, blue as a dream. And I would think of the 12 billion ants down there, all looking up into the night, wishing they were me. I swear I could feel their envy. You know, you're not an ant. You are brave and doomed and different than anyone who has ever lived before. Only when you get done your shift, then you have to go to the gym and spend 3 hours pumping the ergo rack in a squeeze suit to find muscle loss in case you decide to go back down again. Being a temp sucks. you're sweating, Elena is off getting work done, or she's reading, or sleeping, or chatting with one of her breakaway pals. There's less than 20,000 breakaways. Did you know that? And then every 9 weeks or so, you've got to go to one of the habitat wheels, just in case you decide to go back down again. And then you got to come back to the VB and get space sick again, and you tell yourself it's worth it because it's not just space you're exploring. How many people can say that? You have to decide what to let go of, what to hang on to. Excuse me.
What are you doing? You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. You must have some kind of flash there, right?
No, I've just got some cheap vodka.
Wait a minute. Aha! Ethanol with a pedigree. But a real back down kind of drug, I gotta tell you. This stuff costs way too much to boost into orbit. Okay, time to start the party. You're making me late.
Looks like the party already started. I'm almost done. You know, this DVD is really well made, but you broke it. And I fixed it. Fixed it. This is a really expensive shoe. I thought you might be some kind of diva and not an outer space gardener. So this is my last job tonight, and this party, your party, sounds way rad.
I love leather shoes. They're like bases. You can polish them up all you want, but once they get wrinkles, you are stuck with them. See these right here? I got them working in the Edens. Too much sun. How old do you think I am?
36.
32. I went up for 15 months. I only aged 4 years. I only suffered less than 8% total bone loss. I built my muscles back up. And I only picked up 18 rads. And, tell you something else, I'm not half as crazy as I used to be. I am a walking advertisement for backing down. I haven't talked you out of applying, have I? I mean, fact of the matter is, I'd probably go right back up there. I thought they'd have me.
So you conquered space.
No, that's where you've got it wrong. It's like Elena used to say. You don't conquer space. It conquers you. You go up there, you're giving up 40, 50 years of your life. The average lifespan is 56 years. That means some breakaways die even sooner.
Your shoe is done. Glue just needs to dry a little bit. I am a cobbly goddess.
How much do I owe you?
30.
Terrific. I'm gonna tell you something now. Something they should tell everyone before they break away.
What? That they don't let you have any drugs or booze up there? That you'll never be normal again? That once you back down, there's nothing for you back here on Earth? You're not giving anything away, are you?
No, I promise I'm not. On the last day, Elena sits me down, and she tells me she doesn't think I should do it. She does not think I will be happy living in space. I'm so stunned I start to cry, which is a real back down thing to do. I try to argue, but Elena has been mentoring for a long time. She knows what she's talking about. Only about a third actually break away. It starts to get strange then. I have something to show you. And then she starts to strip. The time that she'd made love to me, she wouldn't let me do anything to her, and she'd kept her clothes on because breakaways have this thing about showing themselves the temps. I'd seen her hands before, and her feet. They look like spiders. Seen her face before, too. Kissed it, even. But for the first time, I'm seeing her completely naked. She's 51 years old, and I think she may have been taller than me at one point, but it's hard to tell now because she has the zero-G slouch. Her muscles look like they have been completely atrophied because her skin is practically spray painted onto her bones. She's had both breasts removed. I've got 40% bone rot, she says, and I mass 38 kilos. She shows me the scars, you know, where she's had the thyroid operation, she's had her ovaries removed, where she's had the tap inserted for the monthly test for leukemia. Look at me, she says, and what do you see? Well, I want to tell her that I've seen the videos and I've read the literature and I am prepared for what's going to happen to me, but she shushes me. Do you think I'm beautiful? And all I could do was stare. I think I'm beautiful, she said. And so do the others. It's our nature, Cleo. This is how space makes us over. Can you honestly tell me you want this to happen to you? And I couldn't. See, she knew me better than I knew myself. What I wanted was to float with her and be next to her and be different. Maybe I was in love with her. I said thank you. I thanked her for everything she'd done for me. Told her she was right. Got on a shuttle, and I backed right down that day and just became another nobody. She went to Saturn, and as soon as we forget about each other, we can go about the business of living happily ever after. That's not the secret. The heart is a muscle. You see, that means it shrinks in space. That's what the breakaways learn.